I found a venomous spider by accident. Then I secretly kept it in a jar. What blew my mind was this. The spider could actually mimic my voice. I tossed a cockroach into the jar. It was gone in seconds, but I had no idea how terrifying this mysterious spider really was. That night, while I was fast asleep, the spider popped the lid off and escaped. It crawled through the vents into the old lady's room next door. She was sound asleep, completely unaware that danger was creeping closer. The next morning, a scream got everyone's attention. Her parrot was dead. The old lady blamed it on a rat, but my dad wasn't so sure. That evening, my dad came into my room. He spotted a web-covered glass jar sitting on my desk. Just as he leaned in for a closer look, I walked in and cut him off. I told him I was tired and basically kicked him out. Then I pulled out a bag of live cockroaches to feed the spider. That's when a mothball rolled right next to the jar. The spider let out a painful shriek. I yanked the mothball away immediately. Then I held it near the web just to test it. The web dissolved instantly. The jar started shaking violently. I caught it just in time. Disaster avoided. I watched the spider carefully. I couldn't believe how big it had gotten. That night, the spider escaped again. This time, it ended up in the neighbor lady's apartment. Her little dog sensed something was off. It kept barking, trying to warn her, but she got annoyed and shut the dog out. She didn't notice the spider had already crawled onto her. When she took a photo off the wall, she missed the spider hiding behind the frame. As she got lost in a sad memory, the spider revealed itself. The next morning, my dad woke up to the dog barking outside. He picked up the dog and knocked on her door. No answer. He knew something was wrong and forced his way in, but it was too late. She was dead, and no one could figure out why. As the spider kept growing, I decided it needed a bigger home, so I snuck upstairs to visit the biologist in our building. I wanted to borrow a fish tank for the spider. I even told him about the spider's ability to mimic sounds, but the guy insisted spiders don't have vocal cords. There's no way it could make any noise, and its growth rate was extremely abnormal. Still, I showed him what the spider could do. He was instantly fascinated. He offered me a glass tank for free, but on one condition: the spider had to stay with him for observation. I agreed to the deal, but behind my back, he went straight to my dad. He told him I was keeping a highly venomous spider. He claimed he'd hand it over to animal control. When I found out, I lost it. That spider was my only source of comfort. I got into a huge fight with my dad, but the truth was, the spider was never turned over to animal control. The guy kept it for himself. He even fed it live mice. What he didn't realize was this: the spider was growing at an alarming rate. Late that night, the spider crept into my bedroom, but it didn't hurt me. Instead, it headed straight for the living room. It was waiting to strike my parents, who were arguing in there. I was too focused on my game to notice anything, until the dog started going crazy next to me. That's when I got a bad feeling. By the time I got to the living room, it was completely empty. I leaned into the vent and called out for my parents, but my voice attracted the spider instead. It came at me fast. I panicked and shoved a cabinet against the vent opening. I curled up in the corner, frozen with fear. And that's when the spider appeared right behind me.